coming down here. He's a baby. He's a younger one. Actually, if you see another one, come on over here. See, I can show you.
So I just got back from Costa Rica last week. We stayed in 2 different hostels. We stayed at a hostel in La Fortuna for 2 nights, and then we stayed at a hostel in Tamarindo for 3 nights. I had an unbelievable time. I took a whole bunch of photos, and in this video, I'm gonna share some of the photos that I took, as well as go through my camera bag, and then finally, I'm gonna share some photos that I had printed from the trip. Let's get into it. Okay, so this is pretty much all of the camera gear that I brought with me to Costa Rica. I have my Sony a7 III, and I have my Sony 16-35 f4 lens. I have a charger for my NPF Z100 batteries, a hard drive. I have a case for my SD cards. I have a filter for my 16-35 f4, and I also have the Sony 70-200mm f2.8. I also brought my GoPro. I have them here in this top compartment. And I have the GoPro Hero 9 Black, and I also brought the GoPro Hero 7 Black. That's pretty much it. Okay, first up we have a Jacamar. I actually thought it was a hummingbird at first, but then when I looked it up, I found out that it's commonly mistaken for a hummingbird, but is actually a Jacamar. Next we have scarlet macaws, and when I took this photo, it actually looked like some of the macaws were fighting. I'm not sure if it was a territorial issue or not, but when I had taken this photo, they calmed down for a little bit. We have the yellow-throated toucan. There was actually 2 of them at this location. This is the photo that I liked best. I took this photo on my 70-200mm lens, and it kind of had a macro-esque type shot. That's why I wanted to include this photo. I took this photo at the Arenal Ecological Park. I thought it really cool the way these butterflies lined up on the tree. Okay, so here we have a pit viper. I'm not sure exactly what species it is, but I know it's a pit viper. I believe this was a younger pit viper. I used ISO 1600. It was really dark that day, especially in the jungle. And here we have a stream frog. I snapped this photo at the Arenal Ecological Park. I wanted to include this photo because I thought it was a really cool silhouette, and it's not something that you see every day. Here we have the red-eyed tree frog. These frogs are not poisonous, and we were actually able to hold one of these frogs shortly after this video was taken. I shoot waterfalls on the 16-35. However, the lens I had on my camera at the time was the 70-200, and I didn't want to switch out my lens, so I ended up just shooting it on the 70-200. This photo was also shot on the 70-200. I really like the jungle in the foreground and the volcano in the background, and that's why I wanted to include this photo. Here we have the Cortez waterfall. I did crop this photo in a little bit because there's people swimming in the river. This has to be one of my favorite photos, if not my favorite photo from the entire trip. Okay, so I'm about to show you guys some prints from the trip, but before I do that, I want to give my roommate Will, who I visited Costa Rica with, a huge shout out. Even up until the train ride home, we were laughing and making jokes the whole time. Now time for me to show you guys some prints from the trip. Okay, so over here I have some of my favorite photos as well as a few miscellaneous items. And I guess while I'm here, I'll share some of the miscellaneous items with you guys. This is one of my favorite records. Sweet 17 Singles by Twin Peaks. I saw Phoenix at College Street Music Hall about a year ago, and I actually took this photo on my point and shoot camera. Really like the way this one came out. I like the bokeh. I got it printed on an 11x14 photo. And this one is La Cortez waterfall. And last but not least, we have 2 scarlet macaws. And our guide was actually telling us that the red scarlet macaws are native to South America, and that the green and orange scarlet macaws are native to Costa Rica. I took this photo when we were changing shuttles on our way to Tamarindo. I thought it was really cool to take a photo of a scarlet macaw from South America next to a scarlet macaw from Costa Rica. Okay, so if I had to sum up my trip to Costa Rica in just a few words, I would probably say that it was the trip of a lifetime, and the only thing I would have done differently is I would have liked to have stayed for a couple more days. That being said, I feel like my roommate and I did a lot of really cool stuff in the time that we were there, and I'm also feeling really grateful that I was able to visit a country that I had never been to before. I want to thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you liked watching it, leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.